Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Johnson, and I will be presenting on Zara and their business model. In this presentation, I will talk about how Zara's business model heavily revolves around data, how they are different from other brands, why this topic is important, how it relates to IS and IT, and future trends as well. To introduce Zara, they are a retail clothing chain that originates in Spain. They specialize in fast fashion clothing items such as t-shirts, pants, accessories, suits, shoes, and more. They were founded in 1975 and are owned by Inditex, whose owner ranks 14 in the world for total net worth today. And that kind of indicates or shows how popular and successful Zara has become. And Zara's mission statement is to give customers what they want and give it to them faster than anyone else. And with that, they are quick to adapt to fashion trends, have a quick turnaround time, and keep customers coming back. In summary, their success comes from a history of adaptability, flexibility, and data. Moving on to their business model, which is the main focus today, I want to highlight a couple of their main strategies, which are gathering customer feedback and having a fast turnaround time. For one, the Zara staff use PDAs or personal digital assistants in their stores, and that is pictured in the bottom left corner there. And the PDAs are handheld computing devices and are used on the floor. They can be used by staff to record customer feedback to see what they want more of. And with it, staff can observe or even ask customers directly what styles, fabric, or price points that they like, and the staff can put it into their PDA. And one thing to note is that in Zara, some stores have up to a 70% of their sales coming from commission for on-the-floor workers. So that makes workers pretty active during store hours and make them get a lot of customer feedback. And even after the stores close too, the staff can investigate the clothes that weren't bought and record customer habits, and they can basically look at what was tried on and weren't bought, their preferences in cloth and color, and so on. And the PDAs are linked to the store's POS system, which stands for point of sales. And what this is basically a transaction process that captures customer purchase information, showing what they bought and how much they bought. And with the POS system, they can rank the garments by sales, see what styles are in demand, and issue rebuy orders based on the feedback. And the goal of using both the PDA and POS system is to analyze sales and make decisions based on proven evidence instead of hunches and guesses. And this also helps the different teams at headquarters make decisions, such as designs and restocking items as well. Though it may seem like an obvious choice, to use this much customer feedback, Zara is one of the pioneers for this type of model in the fashion industry, which made them incredibly popular in the first place. Moving on to turnaround time, this is another key point in Zara's business model and also includes the use of data collected from the POS system and the PDA system before. And the main thing that Zara aims to do is to tackle trends quickly and give customers what they want as fast as possible, as mentioned in their mission statement. And Zara does a great job with this, as the average time for a Zara concept to go from an idea to a physical store is around 15 days, which is insane considering some of the rivals only receive new styles once or twice a week. And one quote that I even read online um, reads that at Zara, most of the products that you see in store didn't even exist 3 weeks earlier, not even in sketches, which is pretty cool. And to get that fast turnaround time, the company also uses vertical integration, which I will be talking about more in the next slide. And vertical integration is the combination of two or more stages of production, normally operated by separate companies. With vertical integration, everything is faster and more efficient. Instead of outsourcing a bunch of designers and manufacturers, Zara seeks to do most of their work in-house, and an example of this could be their headquarters. They use the data from before and send it to their headquarters, which is this place titled The Cube, located in a city in Spain. This place consists of teams of around 300 young, hungry designers from design schools who make their clothing items using software like C Design and Corel Draw. And with designing and manufacturing, nearly 60% of Zara's merchandise is produced in-house, and they do this to focus on speeding up complex tasks, lowering cycle time, and reducing error with technology, systems, and machinery as well. Zara also has their own factories where robots cut and dye a ton of their items for sales. In total, Zara makes 40% of their own fabrics and punches most of its dyes from its own subsidiary. Overall, they limit their outsourcing and keep production in-house to have a competitive advantage. To go along with production, the company also prioritizes inventory optimization. This helps them determine how many of which items and what sizes should be delivered to each specific store. And it's also important to note that each Zara location is different and will mostly not have the same items. Each Zara store collects their own data for their own location, optimizing their sales and catering to the styles in their area. For example, a Zara store in Oklahoma is going to be completely different from one that you would see in Los Angeles because their taste can be much different. Having talked about their business model, I want to explain why they are different versus other companies and how their ways of thinking has become popular. The main reason Zara's whole business model is studied and popular is because they are unique and analytical. Zara does not market their brand mainly through fashion shows or ads like other fast fashion brands, but they are focused on data and fast turnaround times. And their model has a ton of advantages that stand out from other fast fashion brands. These advantages are mainly their limited runs as well as their almost non-existent markdowns. And starting with limited runs, from constantly gathering data and adapting to the market, most of the products are manufactured only for a limited amount of time. Zara wants to keep being flexible and not stay stagnant, so they constantly come up with new designs and new products for people to try from the data that they collected. Some retailers stock with the same generic clothes time and time again, but Zara keeps coming back, and Zara wants to keep customers coming back and on their toes by having seemingly exclusive items. And with changing their store multiple times a season, it makes people buy fast because they are scared that the product may never return again, which is often the case. And secondly, their model makes it hard to have markdowns. For most clothing operations, they have plenty of overstock of unpopular items because they assume that people will buy them. In addition, stores also get tons of reorders of items for their stores when they are sold out. However, when trends die down, these items may not be sold and must be put on sale to get their money back or to get some kind of money out of it. But with Zara, limited runs encourage customers to buy straight away at full price. They make it almost impossible not to sell out because they limit their inventory and keep heavy track of data and trends. And their use of data analytics is unique compared to other stores and has definitely made them stand out and popular as well. After hearing about this random clothing company for an ISDS class presentation, you may be wondering, why do we need to care about this? Why should we care? Well, they are revolutionizing the fashion industry and showing new ways of business. Unlike many other fashion brands and retail brands, they use limited marketing, have fewer online sales, they save a ton of money, and they use IT and systems to be effective in the market. First, with their model, they are showing that you can be successful with limited marketing. Most brands rely on marketing to get their brand out there and to get returning customers, but Zara proves that it is not necessary. Zara does not create trends through fashion shows or walks, but they follow customer demand and make decisions based on their own sales. With their constantly changing stores, the average Zara customer visits the store 17 times per year compared to the 3 annual visits that competitors have. And all that is without a bunch of marketing, but It's purely based on demand and analytics. Speaking of advertising, I want to mention how Zara's business model shows other brands how they can save money. For advertising, tons of brands rely on marketing and online advertisements to make sales, but for Zara, they have nearly like zero television commercials, ads in the press, or banners on the internet, and they save so much money on advertising, yet prove that they can be successful without it. And this can translate to other retail stores as well, not just not just clothing stores. And if you work in retail in the future or advertising or data analytics, Zara is definitely a store that needs to be studied and talked about. Next, they also save money in their individual stores using IT implementation. Each store is different for Zara, as I mentioned earlier, um, where a store in LA is going to be completely different from one in Oklahoma. And with that, each store uses its own data. Zara uses software to schedule staff based on each store's forecasted sales volume, and this ultimately leads to more flexible schedules and staff work hours are reduced by 2%. And the constant refinement of operations and schedules helps reduce the cost for Zara as well. And more on IT, their IT implementation with their POS, PDA, and fast systems help compute several large live databases for things such as store inventory, sales, and warehouse inventory, under time constraints. And it can also be noted that Zara implements a SMT or store management terminal at every store to strengthen the communication within stores, warehouses, and management departments as well. With that being said, despite their extensive technology for a clothing company, Zara's IT expenditure is less than one-fourth the fashion industry average. And this is because they make investments where it will have the most impact, and every dollar they spend on tech has a way bigger payoff. By analyzing Zara, companies in general, and like I mentioned before, not just clothing companies, can see how important IT implementation is and how useful customer data is. It saves time, prevents overstock, the information flow is easier, and the information is easily kept and stored for future use. So what does Zara's business model mean for future trends? As I mentioned earlier, their business model highlights the importance of um, and efficiency of data analytics, and companies possibly branching out of the fashion industries and just retail in general should take note on how IS and IT is important and can affect sales greatly. Before Zara and even today, companies do not produce much during the season and instead stay stagnant. And however, companies may start to add pieces during the season, taking advantage of trends while they are popular, similar to how Zara does. And it should also be noted that Zara's takes on vertical integration is also a great takeaway. In the future, we may see more fashion companies manufacturing and producing in-house. Although it's more expensive, it has a much bigger payoff, especially for turnaround times. It also offers a more tight-knit communication and a more focused objective. So closing words, I would like to mention that Zara uses information technology to monitor, manage, and process the making of their products. And with this system, they are efficient, have changed the fashion industry and retail industry as well. And the software and hardware that Zara uses is only just a piece of the puzzle. The way that they utilize their headquarters, data, employees, technology, and procedures show that having a data-driven business model is efficient. Lastly, we have the question, how can information technology affect clothing sales? A, they can spot trends faster. B, it can lead to a faster turnaround time. C, they can gather data through customer feedback. And D, all of the above. And that's going to wrap up my presentation. Thank you all for listening, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day.